Hello, everyone. It's Judy from Coffee Cookies and Books, and it's really great to see you again. Now, today, what we're going to do is we're going to do a book haul. So, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that I only do my book hauls every so many months. And these ones that are coming up, there's going to be 3 of them. And that's because, as usual, I'm separating them by category. So you only have to watch the ones that you're absolutely interested in. And this will be it for 2025. There will not be another one. I don't plan to pick up that many more books between now and the end of the year. So this is pretty much it. So today's book haul, we are going to concentrate on fantasy, little bit of cozy fantasy, that sort of thing. I don't have a ton of books. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 books in total to go over with you. Oh, wait, actually, there's 14, and one of them is going to be at the end, and it's going to be a surprise for you, and it's going to be a surprise for me. So you're going to definitely want to watch all the way. Hopefully you'll find this interesting. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to try to go through these fairly quickly. There are a few in here that are continuations of series. So I'll just kind of give you the breakdown based on what the first book was, and then we will go from there. Okay, so we're going to start with some of the cozy ones. Now, these are like cozy paranormal type, as opposed to, I do have like cozy mysteries, but they're going to be in with the thrillers. So these ones have a paranormal feel to them. So the first one is called Undead and Unwed, and that is by Sam Tschida. And this is an actual vampire one. Can this vampire get off the naughty list? Tiffany may be 300 years old, but she's still a hot mess. The vampire is tragically single, works a dead-end job at a blood bank, and spends her nights marathoning Hallmark Channel movies with her cat. So now she is going to get a home in Valentine, Vermont, that she got on the basis of mistaken identity. And you can just imagine where it all is kind of roll in from there. It's going to get really interesting. I just really loved the sound of it. And you know what? It's like a 300-page book. So when it just came out, I think like a few weeks ago, maybe. So I loved it and wanted to pick it up. So obviously I can't tell you what it's about completely. I don't like to read. In actual fact, it's like I haven't even read the whole synopsis, just simply because it kind of gives away a little bit too much. But I do think there might be a little bit of a romance in there as well. And obviously, some of these fantasies do run in the romantasy category, so I think that kind of fits right in. The next one we have is called Soulless, a Parasol Protectorate novel by Gail Carriger. And it is, I believe, the first one in a series. And it says, Alexia Terabody is laboring under a great many social tribulations. First, she has no soul. Second, she's a spinster whose father is both Italian and dead. Third, she was rudely attacked by a vampire, breaking all standards of social etiquette. Where to go from there? From bad to worse, apparently, for Alexia accidentally kills the vampire, and then the appalling Lord Macon, loud, messy, gorgeous, and werewolf, is sent by Queen Victoria to investigate. So it has vampires, werewolves, all that sort of thing, and it is obviously in historical England. So I loved the whole sound of that. Now, I'm not a huge historical reader. I don't particularly like historical fiction, but I do like it like this. Okay, so that was why so I can't remember who it was that brought this one up. But it was as soon as they brought it up, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds really good. And so maybe I'll give it a try. It is a series, like I said, I'm not sure exactly how many books are in the series. Always want to try the first one, right? Yeah, so I thought that one sounded really good. And vampires and werewolves. So the next one is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. Now, I know this is YA, but I did like the sound of it. I know it is a series, but I've only gotten the first book. I figured I'd read the first book and then kind of go from there on whether I like it. YA, I still like to read YA. Like I absolutely loved The Hunger Games. And I'm reading another one right now, which is actually going to come up in this batch of books because I have the second one in the series, which is also YA. So in certain aspects, I do like it. It really depends on the book. Okay, so that's why I thought I'd try the first one. It says, the moon understands what it means to be human, uncertain, alone, cratered by imperfections. No one knows why Juliet's touch is fatal, but the establishment has plans for her, plans to use her as a weapon. But Juliet has plans of her own. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovering a strength to fight back for the very first time and to find a future with the one boy she thought she'd lost forever. In the electrifying first book in Shatter Me series, Tahereh Mafi presents a riveting dystopian world, a thrilling superhero story, and an unforgettable heroine. Now, I liked the idea that it was a dystopian world because that's also something that I really enjoy reading. It kind of had a bit of a sci-fi feel. So again, even though it's YA, that could appeal to me. So I thought I would give this first one a try. It's a very short book, not too long. So another good one to try. Okay, so the next one is Woodstock's The Deep by T. Kingfisher, which is the third book in the Sworn Soldier series. I have read the other two, which are on the back here is What Moves the Dead and What Beasts at Night. I enjoyed both of them. I think I liked the first book a little bit more than the second book, but I really enjoyed it. They're kind of a mystery, paranormal kind of series based around these few people that encounter these situations. And so it has a lot of the similar characters, but the main character is Alex Easton. And Alex Easton is like an ex-military commander. He was friends with the group of people from the first book, and they made friends with the rest of the people. They've become acquaintances. And one of them is one of the main characters in this book. Alex goes to the U.S. to help a doctor that showed up in the first book as a character. So that's what this is. Very short. These are all novella sized, which I actually like. I feel like you get really deep into the story very quickly. There's not a lot of time for it to be boring, my opinion. And so I'm hopeful that this one's going to be the same. And I like the idea that they follow similar characters as you go through. So, and that also goes for the next book, which is Brigands and Breadknives by Travis Baldree. This is the third book in the Legend Latte series. So Legend Lattes was the first book that came out. And then the next book was Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is actually a prequel to Legend Lattes. Now, I liked Legend Lattes, but I loved Bookshops and Bone Dust. And this one is a character that was introduced in the prequel book, Bookshops and Bone Dust, and this book follows that character. Now, this does actually move the book ahead to where Legends and Lattes happened, but I don't know that this whole thing centers around that, which I'm fine with because I liked the original character. The original character from this book was the person that owned the bookshop in Bookshops and Bone Dust. So, very much looking forward to that one as well. And then the next one that kind of falls in the cozy side is Violet Thistlewait is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempholtz. Every thorn has its rose. So this is a book of the month pick that I chose. I thought this sounded extremely charming and very cozy. And so I'll read a little bit of what it says. It says, Guy Shadowfade is dead, and after a lifetime as the Dark Sorcerer's right hand, Violet Thistlewait is determined to start over, not as a fearsome thorn witch, but as someone kind, someone better, someone good. The quaint town of Dragon's Rest, Violet decides, will be her second chance. She'll set down roots, open a flower shop, keep her sentient, mildly homicidal houseplant in check, and prune dark magic from the twisted boughs of her life. So I think there is a bit of a romance in this. I'm not 100%, but I just thought it had a bit of sort of I feel like, oh, what the heck is that? I can't remember the book offhand, but there are several books that kind of reminded me of this one, and I just thought this one sounded really great. And of course, book of the month, so I thought I'd pick it up and give it a try. So that is kind of the last of the cozy ones, and the next ones are we're getting into our actual sci-fi and fantasy, maybe with a touch of romance, but I don't know if these have a lot of romance in them. So the first book that we're going to look at is a second book. So the first book we're going to look at is Heavenly Tyrant by Zhao, and I just finished Iron Widow, which is the first book in the series. So this is a continuation. Now, I don't want to say anything because the first book does end in a cliffhanger. So this is written in sort of a feudal Chinese form. So a lot of things are taken from older Chinese culture and rolled into a science fiction futuristic world. And it centers around very young people. So the main character, who is a woman, she's only 18. And it's these young kids, basically, are used to power these machines that fight these invaders. Okay, so we'll just kind of leave it at that. Her mission was to get sold to one of these young men to get revenge on her sister's death. So that also comes about in the very beginning of the first book. First book was excellent. I really enjoyed it. Of course, it's fresh in my mind because I just finished it. Can't wait to read this one. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think it's going to be a fantastic read. Now, I don't know for sure if it's just a duology. I haven't read that, and it doesn't actually say here. It just says that it's a sequel to it. So I'm kind of hoping it's a duology. This one is considerably longer than the first book. I think the first book is round about 400 pages, not quite 400 pages. This one is almost 500. Yeah, 500 and something. Oh, hang on. I just literally glimpsed the last page and it said to be continued. So that means it's not done in this book. If this book is even half as good as the first book, then I will continue to read the series, without a doubt. I did manage to pick up the hardback on this one from Book Outlet, which was fantastic because, you can always get it super cheap, right? And I think that the cover is beautiful. Cover in the first book is really gorgeous too, but yeah, love those covers. Next one. Now, the next one is definitely a romantasy, and that is Fairydale by Veronica Lancet. I initially wasn't really sure that I wanted to get this one. This is like a 700-page book. They're huge, right? But I liked the sound of it. Now, I don't know if it is actually a why choose or not, but I just thought the whole premise of the story sounded interesting. We will read a little bit of it here. It says, I might be evil personified, but you're the only one I'll ever be good to. So that's just one of the statements right in the back. It says, in August 1955, when Miss Darcy O'Sullivan, an orphaned English teacher from Boston, received a letter that her biological father passed away, she's surprised to find herself included in his will. There is only one condition. She must travel to Fairydale to attend his funeral. With the promise of a sizable inheritance, Darcy decides to journey to the small coastal town that holds the secrets of her birth. But the moment she sets foot in Fairydale, things start to go amiss. Odd residents, odd rumors, odd deaths. Everything about Fairydale is odd, including broody Caleb Hale, part of the infamous Hale family. So obviously it's a romantasy. I don't want to read any more than that on it to give it away, but I liked the fact that it kind of skirted around a bit of a mystery death and mystery things going on in the town, making it very dark, I guess, is the best way of putting it. Now, this is the new cover and the new version from Atria, because this was originally self-published and then it was picked up by a traditional publisher, and I waited and I got this cover. I know a lot of people really like the original cover. I didn't like particularly the original cover. I mean, I can't say that I think this cover is all that great either, but I did just sit and wait. And let me tell you, this is one of those fantastic floppy books, which is great because it's 700 pages. So you have to read a 700-page book. Best to read it in floppy form, right? Okay. So then the next, I'm going to do two together because I have the aardvark versions of Bride and Mate. So I have already read Bride, but because I was getting Mate in the aardvark version, I wanted a matching set, okay? I had the cheap paperback version of Bride initially, so now I have the two, which I think is fantastic because these are gorgeous versions, and I think they have the ombre on the inside. Oh yeah, they both have kind of like an ombre effect, and let me tell you, aardvark's hardcovers, they're like silk. They feel like silk. I love their hardcover versions, but they always kind of do something a little bit special, and I loved this. I thought this was just fantastic to get both of them. Now, in this first one, I just did my review on this because I read it in October, so it would be in my October reviews. And then this book is about Serena, who is the best friends with Misery Lark from the first book. So it is not a sequel. It is just an interconnected couple. Same similar world. You have werewolves in this one. This one was vampires and werewolves. So paranormal, which is why I included it in this category, even though they are technically romances. Now, I will say in the first book, in Bride, the romance kind of came a little bit later as the couple developed together. From what I've heard in this one, I don't know if it's a romance, but the sexual tension and parts between these two come quicker. But I think the romance still develops slower, the actual romance between the two. Because romance, to me, romance and sex are two different things, okay? Very different. So one can happen without the other one yet, you know? That's just my point of view. That's from being old. That's kind of how I see it, you know. Anyways, that's these two. Very much looking forward to reading Mate, and Mate will be on my must-reads for 2026. You can bet on that one, okay? All right, so next one is a book of the month, and that is Red City by Marie Lu. I did get this copy. It apparently has, but spread edges are terrible. Like, honestly, yeah. Like you can hardly, you're supposed to be able to differentiate that this is a skyline. And I just think it's not very well done, but I don't really care one way or the other. I bought it more for the book and the idea. Now, this is not, from what I understand, I don't believe it's a romantasy. I believe it's just fantasy. And this is Marie Lu's debut as an adult fantasy writer, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It says alchemy and ambition, power and perfection, love and lies. Welcome to Angel City. Don't let it break your heart. Now, it says, when you win the game of power, who do you lose? Alchemy is the hidden art of transformation and exclusive power wielded by crime syndicates that market it to the world's elites in the form of sand, a drug that enhances those who take it into a more perfect version of themselves, more beautiful, more charismatic, simply more. Among the gleaming skyscrapers and rolling foothills of Angel City, alchemy is controlled by two rival syndicates. For years, Grand Central and Luminous have been balanced on a razor's edge between polite negotiation and outright violence. But when two childhood friends step into that delicate equation, the city and the past of their lives will be irrevocably changed. It almost sounds a bit like a Romeo and Juliet kind of idea, but I don't know that there's a lot of romance in it. I also do not know if there is if this is the first in a series. No idea. And there are in here, hold on, I'm just going to. So they give common symbols, alchemy symbols are in here. And also, there are other symbols for like the syndicates and things like that in here, which I think is fantastic. So yeah, I just honestly think it sounds really great. And it maybe reminds me a little bit of Jade City. I think somebody compared it a bit to that. No idea, because I have not read that yet. I do have the first one. Haven't read it yet. So that's that one. And then the last two that I have before the surprise, okay, are the two final books in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, The Eye of the Bedlam Bride and Inevitable Ruin, which is the last book that just came out. This one is I think the thickest. Like, look at that. It's a chunker. How many pages is this thing? Yeah, this is like 800 pages. And what about this? This looks like it's more like, oh no, this is actually more. But this one looks thicker. Does it not? Well, anyway, so I have the last two. Now, I have read the first three books in the series, Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Like, it's the best series freaking ever. Okay. My opinion. I know some people don't like it, which is the joys of reading, right? We all are entitled to our opinions. And I have decided to put the next three books on my must-read list for next year, which of course we will be going over in a video. But I did not want to put this one, the last one, on, because I'm kind of sad. I don't want to read the last one, because like, when will the next one come? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, maybe, like I might wait to read this one when I know the next one's coming out for sure, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a next one, because I don't think this is the last one. No, it's not. I'm pretty much 100% sure this is not the last one. So anyway, so that's my last two. So that catches me up and has me current on the Dungeon Crawler Carl series as far as everything that's available up to this point. So now we're on to our final surprise. It's a surprise for me, just like it is for you. And that is, I decided to join the Broken Bindings Science Fiction and Fantasy subscription. for two reasons. One, because I love the books that they come out with. I love what they do with the books that they come out with. I also like the idea of getting books that I might not even know are available. There's a lot of different reasons. And in this, like, I do find a lot of what Broken Binding carries, sometimes in just science fiction, doesn't always appeal to me. And sometimes in just fantasy, doesn't always appeal to me. But I loved the idea of the science fiction fantasy crossover. And so that was why when they introduced this, because this is new, it's a bi-monthly subscription, which is bi-monthly is perfect for me. But I just liked the idea of crossing those two over, and I wanted to see what they would do with that. Okay, so this is the first box, and it literally arrived today when I'm filming, just before I started filming this. Okay, so we're going to open her up. All right, now their packaging is crazy because everything comes in this, like this, but it's coming from the UK. So I kind of appreciate the fact that it comes in this, even if it's going to take us forever to unwrap this. But you're here with me, so let's do this and get this puppy unwrapped. Okay, holy crap. Like, this is insane. But, you know, I love also the fact that it is very nicely prepped and ready for recycle, you know. So that is all of that, which is like, holy crap. And then, of course, we have more bubble wrap. And then we have this beautiful wrapping that they do, and it says November 2025 box, Unravel Reality. No idea. I have no idea what this book is. None whatsoever. So you and I are going to find out together. Okay, so let's just take the tape off here and get this baby unwrapped. I just, you know, I don't want to make a mess of it, but they use masking tape, so it's actually pretty easy to untape all of this. And let's untape this part. There we go. Across like that. Oh, okay. So this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. You know, I was trying to guess. So this is the new book by Ken Liu, All That We See or Seen. And from my understanding, this is definitely heavily science fiction. From what everybody has said, this is not like his other series at all. So this has some nice sprayed edges. Clearly, absolutely gorgeous cover. And then on the inside, let's see what it looks like. Oh, this is beautiful too. You know, yeah, love that. And then let's see what the end papers have. Oh, you can tell, very sci-fi based, right? Like very, very. Oh, that is stunning. Like, that's just absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's like I almost don't want to read it, but of course I will read this because this sounds like it's going to be a really fantastic read for me. So let's just read what the, read like that. Okay, so it says, is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? 14, Julia Z became infamous as the orphan hacker, a teenage prodigy who broke the law and captivated a nation. Now, years later, she's trying to leave that life behind, hiding in the quiet suburbs of Boston. But her fragile anonymity is shattered when a desperate lawyer bursts into her life, begging for her help to find his wife, a celebrated artist who uses artificial intelligence to craft shared dreams for thousands of followers and who has been kidnapped by a criminal syndicate. So I liked the idea that it's current day. I know some people might not like that sort of thing. That is totally my thing, very much something that I'm going to like. So that was one of the reasons why I had some interest in this book, and I held off getting it, and I am very happy that I held off getting it because, yeah, really, 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 really want to read this one. So there you go. All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu. That is the last one. And got a little sticker, All That We See or Seem, from them. But that's the last one that we have to talk about. So our science fiction and fantasy, we are done. And the next video that I'll be bringing to you will be either romance or thrillers, mysteries, cozy mysteries. That'll be one. Romance will be the other one. So there's going to be 2 more videos to watch for in case this one does not interest you whatsoever, which of course, if you get to the end of this, you've already heard my crap and my spiel going into all of this, but it is what it is. I appreciate you being here, even if you weren't interested in any of these books. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. I would really love it if you could like and subscribe and comment. I would love to hear what you think about any of these books. Yeah, so I guess that's it for today, and we'll see you soon.